Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. DJ Dewey B, how we
DJ
doing?
doing pretty well, my friend. How are you?
Good, good. I am almost set here. There you are. How you been?
Good, good.
Good. How
Very
was the week?
tough week, but I'm here. I'm still alive, feeling good, brother.
I hear you. I hear you. Hey, well, it is the start of the festival season, and everything's about to start kicking off. I'm looking forward to being there in uh, this month for the Mendel picnic, and then we got the chosen few next month. So here we are in the thick of things.
All right, everybody, go out and get your tickets, and make sure you join in.
Make sure you join in. That's right. Well, whether you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, we appreciate you so much. But we're not going to talk about Chicago today. We're going to bring in our guest that we're so excited. Her energy is wonderful. She's just an amazing person, and I'm looking forward to talking to her. The next generation DJ that loves the culture, loves the music. Let's bring Beaubien out. Beaubien, how are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, yes. So you are from Vancouver, born and raised?
Born and raised in Vancouver. Yep.
And
There's a lot of people that
Vancouver?
come here. But
Now,
I am a born and raised Vancouverite.
now, where exactly is that in proximity to like Toronto and
Oh, okay. We're like a 5-hour flight from Toronto or New York. We're on the western coast, the most western you can go, pretty much. And a 3-hour drive from Seattle. So we have the same weather, same
ah?
rain, all that. Yeah, that gray and rain is same weather that we have.
Well, hey, so the fam is coming in. We just want to make sure we acknowledge everybody out there that's listening in. So I'm gonna just let you know who's in the building. Cavasso, say hello.
Hi, Cabasso. Thanks for watching, even though the Vegas Knights are playing in the playoffs right now.
That is right. Well, he is a big supporter, and we had him on a couple of weeks ago. Just a beautiful soul, loves the culture, and is very supportive of people like yourself and our show and everything that's just going on. So, how did you find your way to house? Tell us your origin story.
Okay, well, I was telling you guys before this started that the first connection I had to house music, I didn't know it was house, but my brother had a cassette tape. It was a dance compilation called Much Dance 92 or 93. And it was, there was Frankie Knuckles, the whistle song on there. And it resonated to my, I don't know, I must have been like in grade 5 or 4 or something. I was definitely in elementary school. And I heard the whistle song, didn't know it was house music, but I was rewinding that cassette over and over again to hear that song. And then fast forward to being about 15 or 16, I went to my first rave. I got approached on the sidewalk. I had very short, very colorful hair, and a promoter invited me to go to a rave. He said, "You know what raves are?" I'm like, kind of, maybe not. And so my friend and I went, and I absolutely fell in love with the music and culture that was going on at that time. Vancouver had a very vibrant party scene around 99, 2000. And so I just became a part of the dance floor. And I wouldn't say I was a house dancer, but I was definitely an appreciative person, like a supporter. And I was dancing too close to the speakers, to Armand Van Helden's You Don't Know Me. Had no idea that it sampled disco at the time, but, you know, I kind of fell in love with that 2000, early 2000s kind of house sound, and was just going out and supporting as much as I could. And then DJs became my friends. And fast forward, I'm in the culture for 10 years, and I noticed that the scene is sort of changing, and the soulful house that I really loved and resonated with was sort of falling out of favor, and EDM was coming up. And so this was about 2012. My my favorite club night in Vancouver. It was called Experience Saturdays, and it was DJ Rob Risk who put it on, and that night ended. And when that ended, I was like, wow, I don't even know where to find soulful and Afro house in Vancouver anymore. So I started staying home, and I quickly started buying songs because I had 10 years of a musical library in my head from going out. But quickly, I've amassing these songs, but as DJs, you can't play a house song from start to finish. It's not like you put on a record and you listen from start to finish. There's that 1 minute intro and outro. And so very quickly I was like, you know what? I need to get some kind of equipment. I need to mix this music. That's how I need to listen to it. And it was purely for myself, to preserve the music that I loved, that I felt was disappearing in my city. And yeah. So
very interesting. Very interesting. DJ Dewey B, as you hear her talk about preserving the music, what do you think when she starts having that conversation?
It's a great conversation to have. I mean, we're all part of the culture that should preserve it and foster it and bring it on into the future. So
yeah,
it's beautiful, and to hear her play is also beautiful. You play some cuts, let's just say.
Yeah, and I think that's DJ Dewey B, to your point, is that those of us that have some runway. I mean, we've been around. We didn't just pick this up last year. We've got some runway. We've heard some amazing music over the years, and there's some amazing new music, as you always say. But I think Beaubien's magic is she brings the old in with some of the new. She just really does a really good job of putting that all together. And I want to say hello to the Twitch fam. I see you, Soulgasmic, DJ Fusion. And if you are lurking, we appreciate your ears. Thanks so much for listening in. We are just getting started with Beaubien. So as you kind of started getting into DJing, you did it for yourself first, but then it became more than that.
Yeah, I thought that it would be a cool hobby. So for my 29th birthday, I bought myself a controller. I found a Newmark 2-channel controller that had an iPod spot on it. That's like totally dating myself. And I went, and it turned out that I bought a controller off of a 15-year-old boy who was giving up DJing to be a photographer. And I really felt like his mom was close to my age. And I remember, this is a funny story. I get there and we're making small talk, and I ask her what kind of music her son likes to DJ. And she said, he really loves this artist named Dubstep. Have you ever heard of him before? And like, without laughing, straight face, I said, oh yeah, I know him. He's not a very nice guy. I don't like him very much. I took the controller, and the rest was history. I didn't have grand intentions of playing out, but I think because I was part of the scene for 10 years and was supporting other DJs and promoters in their nights, when they heard that I started to DJ, I very quickly started to get offers to DJ. And I just want to shout out Luis Machuca. I consider him my DJ mentor, and he gave me my first gigs. I was going to his nights before I was DJing, and he supported me from day one. Now we've been DJing together for 11 years, and I'm in a position where I have my own residency, my own party, the Nonstop Disco Party, and I get to book him now. So it's a really full circle moment for me. And I just want to acknowledge Luis because there's a lot of DJs out there, and they're not always so supportive of each other, right? Like sometimes it can be more of a competition, but there's certain people, like I see Rob Alon pop up. It's not a competition. Like shout out to Rob Alon and the whole Las Vegas DJ crew, Cabasso, Doug Mixer, Tone Love, and Rob Alon. They've also shown so much love, not just to me, but all of DJ Twitch. And that's those connections are irreplaceable in the community.
DJ Dewey B, Beaubien talked a little bit about, there can be some cliques and some different things going on in this world, but there's also some good folks out there. How do you navigate that as you're moving through?
Well, you got to have your sensors on, number one, and get paid, get your check up front, get your check up front. Um, but the younger generation, the younger people aren't experiencing some of the things we experience, and that makes it much better. You know, they have a more worldwide effect, and it's more open to them than it is to the older guys. You know, or let's just say Chicago. Forget it. It's just about Chicago. Some stupid stuff. But I'm glad to have met the younger people who are promising. It's very promising.
That's it. That's it. Rob Alon, we see you out there. Thanks so much for listening in. I know you're crazy about Beaubien just as we are, and we want her to kind of carry this vibe and this culture forward. Why do you think it's? I mean, you mentioned the early 2000s. It's 20 something years later. Why do you think the music continues to thrive? And again, to your point, it's just spawned into different forms, deep, acid, the electronic stuff. Why has house music just been so popular and continues to thrive today?
I think it's a beat that when you are in the club, it envelops you. You feel it throughout your entire body, right? And that's what we were missing during COVID is we couldn't feel the bass on ourselves. And I think
Mm.
that is something that is really key in house. It moves your soul and it physically vibrates your soul. Um, I see Rob Alon popping up in there.
Yeah, drop some bits, drop some bits. So we
Oh,
got to give him Biddy King.
thanks,
Appreciate you.
Rob, for the support. Yeah, I think first and foremost it's that, and then for me, what resonates is soulful vocals. Always for me, like I say, give me like a woman singing about how it's great to be alive, some happy keys, and I'm sold. Like that's all I need in a house track. Like I'm probably gonna buy it. Track Source, you can have all my money. Like, yeah.
And you were talking about track source. You can have all my money. Part of this being a DJ and the culture is spending a lot of money on music.
Yeah. Yeah. I I I don't know. I started claiming my DJ income on my taxes because I thought it would contribute to me getting a higher mortgage. And they didn't even consider my DJ income in the end, which is hilarious. But so every year I see it, I see how much I spend. And I think I've never not bought music. I've never ripped it unless it's not available in my country. I will buy it because it's really important to support the artists, especially if you can on Bandcamp or if not through the channels like TrackSource. Beatport kind of hurts my ears in their suggestions, so I tend to stick to TrackSource. It sort of is more in our realm, but but yeah, I've always bought music, and I will never steal from an artist. Like the one thing I have been doing though to try to reduce my bills is I've been using Tidal integrating with Serato. So for
Mhm.
those gigs that I have that might be private or more corporate, and I don't necessarily want to buy Selena Gomez or something like that, but I get a request, then I'll pop into Tidal, pull it up, play it once, and Tidal also is giving more money back to artists than Spotify. So quit Spotify a long time ago too.
Well, DJ Tone Love is chimed in, and Alexander Sasha. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you for listening in on this conversation with Beaubien. What are a couple of your favorite house memories from the early days?
Ooh, that's a good.
Maybe as a dancer before you were even DJing.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely seen some icons before I was a DJ, like Barbara Tucker. Seen her perform live. Kenny Beaubien, speaking of having the same name. Uh, I've been really lucky that there were promoters in Vancouver that brought some of these artists through, like Mr. V. I didn't actually see Louis Vega until I went to New York. And I would say a really pivotal moment for me and a place that I left a piece of my heart in was Cielo, the club in New York City. I went there several times on a Wednesday. I'd basically make sure I was in New York on a Wednesday so I could see Louis Vega and Kevin Hedge play. And I couldn't believe that you could go to this space and it was free before 11 and they'd give you a free drink. And I'm like, I'm literally seeing the people that inspire me the most. Like Louis Vega is, I'd say he's number one, and he continues to just produce such inspirational music to this day, right? Like he didn't slow down. Like some artists had hits and that's fine, they disappeared, but Louis is prolific. And so to be able to see literally the master at work one half was pretty special a few times. And thought I fell in love once on the dance floor, but that that was not love. That's okay.
Oh, that's great. That's great. DJ Beaubien, I know earlier Beaubien said she invests in music and buys her music, and I had to believe you were just flipping for joy on the other side. Why is it so important to buy this music?
You need to support your favorite artist, whoever that is. It's so important. I mean, you know, not all of us can be Taylor Swift and make billions. So we need to pay the rent and, you know, buy gas just like everybody else. I just want to say one more thing. You know, this could be my daughter, man. We got the same mentality. It's a beautiful thing. I'm just like, this is so beautiful to hear. It's so beautiful to hear.
Yeah, I agree with you with the next generation and the generation even coming up behind Beaubien. There's some amazing talent and people that care more about preserving the culture and the music than about drawing attention to themselves. Beaubien, we were talking before we went live, and we were talking about the Twitch, because you also have a streaming show that I want you to talk a little bit about.
Mhm.
And let's use this as a lead in, because we talked a lot about the chat and how important the mods are and how that almost is the alternative to a dance floor.
Right. Yeah. So I've been streaming on Twitch since May of 2020 was officially when I started, much like a lot of us DJs during the pandemic, trying to figure out what the heck to do. And then I seriously started my stream in November of 2020, and I called it remote work because I was working from home from my remote work desk and literally like worked all day. By day, I'm an office manager, and by night, I'm a DJ. I've been doing this for 11 years, kind of living this dual life like Clark Kent and Superman. And so I would work all day, and then I have my controller here, and then I would DJ. I'd literally be in the same place. So I called my stream remote work. And then just a little side note, I just want to shout out Rob Alon because he was actually my first subscriber. So when he's got the #1 founder, he literally was the first person to subscribe to my channel, which is so cool. I remember he came in and I called him Rob Allen. Thought I was being all good, like the H is silent. and that's something about the chat, right? Like it's moving so fast and you're trying to acknowledge everyone and you're trying to pronounce these names like gooey French toast and Pop-Tart sniffer. And it sounds so weird outside of Twitch. But it totally makes sense in Twitch. And that's where I think where the mods come in, because that's really, I think all of us DJs grappled with that at the beginning, where all of a sudden we are an MC, we're like the chat moderator, we're DJing, we're promoting it. It's like the art of multitasking. It's so crazy how much I think there's more work involved in a Twitch stream than going to say like a cocktail lounge and playing like a set where you're creating a vibe, but like you don't have to like say stuff to the people in the bar unless they come and chat with you one by one. It's like, it really is where the mods come in. And I didn't have mods for the longest time. I was really stubborn. I thought, I don't need mods, mainly because I felt like it was work and I wasn't making enough money from Twitch to pay anyone. And I was like, I don't want anybody to have unpaid labor. This is not right. So I just did without mods. And I think my channel suffered big time. So I had no growth and I just did the same thing every Saturday and felt frustrated, but I kept going. And now here we are a couple years later. And I switched my stream. It's called Blends and Friends. I felt like remote work, that chapter is closed. You know, we have thankfully moved to a place where clubs are open again. And, you know, it isn't the same as March of 2020. So now it's Blends and Friends. I make the blends and we make friends in the chat.
Cool concept, cool concept. So tell us a little bit more about that. I understand you do it from the balcony and you do cool things with sunsets and
yeah, so for the last month, I've been setting up on my balcony and doing a sunset stream. I've always had Saturday night as my stream time, usually 7 to 10 Pacific on Saturdays. It's the day that works best for me. I wish I could be one of those multi-day streamers, but I am very busy in my other life. And so Saturdays is my day, or Saturday evening. Yes, Ravalon says beautiful sunsets. And I think something that's unique to Vancouver is that because we're farther north than you guys in the States, our sun sets later, especially around solstice. So right now the sun's setting at 9:30 at night. And it just makes for a really magical stream. I definitely feel inspired and play based on the environment. It feels very different than streaming in front of a green screen. So I'm happy to continue that through the summer. And we're going to do that tonight as part of the Saturday night experience raid train. I am the caboose of the raid train tonight at 8 Pacific.
Now, you're one of the three camps of DJs that I have a conversation with DJ Joey B about all the time. There's the live DJ, there's the streaming DJ, and then there's you that you do a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. What do you find unique and what do you prefer about the different experiences?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, Twitch is completely its own thing. I don't think that I don't think you can create that in the club. I wouldn't even want to chat with people that much while I'm DJing in the club. I think that it's a really intimate look into a DJ's mind. You know, in Twitch, we can stretch out. There is a dance floor in the sense that it's the chat, but like there isn't a physical dance floor. So you can play songs that maybe aren't like peak time, like fill the floor. You play things that can be more diverse, you know, that you may not necessarily play at the club. And if you want to swerve, you can swerve because everybody's come to your channel. And, you know, if they're not feeling it, they're going to bounce, and that's fine. Like it's kind of a space where, like, I think a lot of the club DJs were saying that there was a freedom in Twitch provided to them where they had creative freedom now. They didn't have a manager coming and saying, well, this person bought a bottle and, you know, so you need to play this. Like it was completely their own, whatever they wanted to curate, however the graphics were, the commands, it's entirely their world. Like, that you come in and create something special. And then the club. I'm so glad clubs are back, you guys. Like, you know, I gotta say something about Vancouver. I think we were the last place in North America that had banned dancing. So it wasn't until March of 2022 that the clubs reopened. So while all you guys were on Twitch talking about going to see like whoever, like your favorite DJs, I was still like, there was seated, there was tables on the dance floors till March of 2022. It was brutal. Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat and there's so many comments. You know, that's another thing about Twitch, right? If you're a DJ, you get caught up in the chat and the music stops, right?
Mm.
I don't know if
We've
that's
all had
happened.
that happen, right?
Okay, right. And what I just appreciate all you guys that are in the chat and just vibing along with us in this wonderful conversation with Beaubien about, you know, what it's like to be a DJ in today's environment. You know, as you were talking about being on Twitch, the ability to create your own experience. DJ Dewey B, we've talked about that, and where you don't have to necessarily worry about the BPMs or keeping the crowd. You can go zigzag, as Beaubien was talking about. What's the advantage of that for the DJ, Dewey?
The advantage is you can play from your heart, and you can buy records that make you feel good. You know, you can play your records, and if people dig it, they dig it, and if not, they can bounce, like Beaubien said. And it's all fine. It's all fine. It's all good.
It's all love. It's all
Yeah.
love. You know, and I love the conversation we always have that on Twitch. You know, Dewey, as you told me, just play your box. You know, play your box, and those, to Beaubien's point, that want to bounce. Don't get wrapped up in how many people are in your stream or not. You know, yes, it could be frustrating when you know, it says one and you click on it and it's yourself. You know, it's like you're like, come on, somebody, you know. But the point is, you love the music and you want to play your box. Go ahead and play your box, enjoy, you know. And to the point you made, Beaubien, is, you know, no bottle service. Nobody's saying I paid $100, so you need to play this. You really can create your own experience, and I think that's a pretty big deal. Do we have any questions? Now, you guys in the chat, feel free to ask away. If you put it in the chat, I'll try to catch it and you know, make sure I pass that on.
Yeah,
Have you ever? Oh, here's one question. Have you ever felt like you've been dealt with differently being a female DJ? That's a great question.
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that. Was that SpongeBob Dave?
Yeah.
I definitely have felt that way. I would even say, in the sense of, so it took me, oh gosh, it took me almost 10 years to get a residency of my own. So I'm the resident DJ of the Nonstop Disco Party. And I am finally in the position where I get to book guest DJs. I have had nights like where it's me and another DJ doing it together, but I've never had something that's purely my own. And I have noticed that when I have a male DJ, even like my mentor, Luis, if Luis is there, people will think or assume it's Luis's night. And that's not to say like anything negative about him. I think it's more the perception that because he's a more established DJ, and I think there is something that comes into that is based on him being a guy too. Like I've had it at I've done one-off parties. I had a guest DJ from Chicago come, John Simmons. I did another event by myself with Ja Big from Montreal. And I had people in the crowd being like, oh, this is a great event. And they had no idea that I had organized it. So I think you might hear a little bit of frustration in my voice. And it is because like, I think I'm not perceived in the same way as if I was a male DJ. And that can certainly have its benefits as well. But yeah, it's frustrating, you know, like I just want to be acknowledged for the work that I do, and that's mine. And I don't want that to automatically be given to someone else just because I'm not the same gender, like, you know. And I would say also, you know, being underestimated in my skill level. I've had like sound guys show me the mixer and like hit on me, and the chef at the restaurant asking me out, or like a sound guy being like, oh yeah, I got a gig for you, but then he invites me to a movie, and I'm like, what like what is this? And I don't know, maybe you guys have been hit on by the waitresses. I don't know. I can't speak to that experience, but I really treat this DJing as my work. I'm working, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I think sometimes when I get brushed off in that way, it stings a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And so back to business. When you playing in Las Vegas, that's what Cabasso wants to know.
Well, I can say we've been waiting for my fiance to get his passport, and he has it finally, which has been quite a journey in itself. So we can book something maybe in July, August, or September. And I just want to shout out because Rabalon and Doug Mixer are flying to Vancouver to play in real life my party, the Nonstop Disco Party, for the second year in a row. They reached out to me last year, said they wanted to come up and play. And I was really honored that they wanted to do that. So we had a great time, and they're coming back to do it again on July 28th. So if you happen to be in Vancouver, or we can make it a Twitch meet up July 28th. And yes, that's right, Rob. That's right. It's gonna be such a blast. Like, that's the biggest blessing from Twitch, is to have created connections that are real friendships. I would have never imagined that from this. And I honestly feel like these guys that are in the chat right now are some of my closest friends. I talk to you guys more than some of my friends in Vancouver. Like, just Cabasso texted me during this thing too.
That's great. That's great. So where do you see this all going? House, we got Twitch, we're back live, we got genres all around the world. Where's this thing going?
Well, so here's another thing that I've never done before. I got booked to play my first out of town festival this August. I'm playing Disco in the Park in Edmonton. It's a outdoor disco festival headlined by Crystal Waters. And I just can't even believe that I'm on a lineup with her. And so this seems like a turning point for me. I think I've wanted these things for many years and kind of been hitting walls and not been able to grow and expand the way that I want. And I feel like I'm finally getting those opportunities, probably in part to having the Nonstop Disco Party. I've been really adamant about making replay videos. Like, in the club, I'll go around, I'll capture footage throughout the night, and then I take my dog to the dog park no matter how little sleep I get. And then right after that, I will make a sleep deprived recap video and post it before 11 a.m. so that people will see it. And I think that those videos are actually reaching people outside of Vancouver. And that happened with Joseph from Edmonton. He's the founder of Disco in the Park. And he asked to come and play Nonstop Disco. So we did that. And now I'm going out to play there. So I'm really ready for those out of town connections. Lost Vancouver, I see. Yes. Like, I'm so ready to play Vegas and play with these guys and meet Tone Love in person. I haven't met him yet. But yeah, I think I've got 11 years experience. I can do this shit. Like, book me.
Well, I tell you what, this has been a delight. DJ Beaubien, any last comments?
Yes, please tune in to Beaubien's Twitch. It's fantastic. Get your umbrellas out. Get your umbrellas out. There it is. Fan. Get it out. That's it. Tune in. It's a great show. I don't promote a whole lot of people, but you guys have a good crew. Cabasso and Rabalon and Beaubien. That's a good crew. Check them all out on Twitch, please.
Absolutely. And well, you're talking about getting invited to go places. It looks like SpongeBob Dave is telling you to pack it up and get on over to the UK. So
yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm game.
There it is. And with that, you know what time it is. We got to raid out of here. So where are we going, Beaubien?
Oh yeah, so we're going to the Saturday Night Experience raid train, and Pangian is on right now. And then you guys can catch me in a few hours at 8 Pacific time to close out the raid train.
All right, there you have it,
Thank
folks.
you guys so
Beaubien
much
said
for
it
being
all.
here.
Absolutely. All right, let's get this raid going. Let me see if I got my actions going. Yes, you guys are getting ready to go party with Pangian, and Beaubien will be on in a few hours. Thank you guys so much for vibing with us. Twitch, you are gone now. Thanks so much, Beaubien. If you are on Facebook or on YouTube watching, thank you guys so much. We'll see you real soon. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Beaubien. See you later.
Bye.